you to Vandergraaf for sponsoring this month's edition of Road to Recovery. Visit their website for more information about the Vandergraaf drum motor designed specifically for heavy industry applications.
Hey there, Kevin Yannick coming at you again from Pit Quarry. Excited to be joined once again by David Chereb of SC Market Analytics. David, thanks for joining us. Great to see you again.
Good to be here, Kevin.
David, 2020 has been an unprecedented year. We've got the coronavirus, we've got the election, and we've talked about that quite a bit on video, and we've read a lot about that within your month-to-month columns in Pit Quarry. But you're an aggregate forecaster when there's no coronavirus and when there's no presidential election year, and that means you're taking into account probably a lot of different factors when you're trying to assess how much demand for aggregate materials there's going to be in any given month and at any given time. And I'm curious, just your process. I'm sure our readers would like to hear a little bit about that as well. But what are some of the little things that you're continuously taking into account as an aggregate forecaster?
Well, I'll be glad to. First, we all know aggregates is very local. So we forecast, whether they're state or national, are done at the county level. So we start at the county level and we look at the major segments, residential, non-residential, non-building. And we calculate and put factors in and come up with a forecast for a county, roll it up to a state, roll it up to a federal. So it's a bottom-up forecast. We do that 4 times a year now. What do we look at? Well, it's construction. So we look at infrastructure needs, the ability to pay for the infrastructure, state and local taxes, employment changes, population growth, migration patterns. And all of that feeds into construction contracts. And so we have construction contracts and we feed that in to the model for residential, non-residential, non-building. It goes through a few million calculations to come up with an estimate by county for aggregates demand for the 3 major segments, and we roll it back up. Underlying all that, and a major input, is financing costs. We're talking about construction and it's the durable good for the future. And so whether it's mortgage rates or construction loans or bond issues, financing costs are always paramount. We're lucky now. They're low, and it makes mortgages affordable, and it really helps construction. So that's an underlying pattern that we look at all the time. So those are the major ingredients that go into it. It's a local product. It's not mysterious, but there's a lot of things that impact it. And we try to do each one of those at the local level, the county level, to get our estimates.
So David, that's really kind of the underlying formula. When you've got a significant world event or a nationwide event like an election or a virus, that really can take precedent when it comes to putting your forecast out there?
Sure. Think of doing all of that and having, we'll call it a nominal forecast, a baseline forecast. And then you have a coronavirus, you have an election. And that's a special factor that you put on top of that to adjust things. So all forecasts are managed one way or the other. I don't care how many equations you have, at the end, a human being is making some judgments for things that you have no history for, like the coronavirus. And you have to factor that in, and we do. And hopefully, if you've looked at enough factors and you've done a good job, you get close. And that's what we're striving for, get close.
And no one's going to bat 1,000 in your seat, David. But if you can hit, 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4, I'm sure that that's doing well in your world.
I'll take it.
David, good to see you again. Thanks again for being here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you to Vandergraaf for sponsoring this month's edition of Road to Recovery. Visit their website for more information about the Vandergraaf drum motor designed specifically for heavy industry applications.